All right, so get this. AI that doesn't just, answer questions or, play chess, but actually takes action, like does things in the real world. That's agentic AI, and that's what we're diving into today.
Yeah, like straight out of science fiction, but it's becoming very real very quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we've got a ton of articles here from NVIDIA, DigitalOcean, UiPath, all kinds of big names in tech.
All buzzing about it, yeah.
So what does this mean for the average person? Well, that's what we're going to figure out. By the end of this deep dive, you'll understand what agentic AI is, how it's already being used, and, where it's headed.
Yeah, it's really fascinating to see how this is all developing. Like, we're moving beyond just AI that analyzes data, right? Or automates simple tasks. Now we're talking about AI that can, actually make decisions and take actions in the real world with, minimal human input.
Okay, so that's pretty mind-blowing, but I think we need to, break it down a bit. What makes AI agentic? How is it different from just a chatbot?
So think of it this way. A regular chatbot, that's reactive. But agentic AI, that's proactive.
Okay, I'm following.
So, a chatbot could answer a question about, let's say, your bank account. But an agentic AI, it could actually detect suspicious activity.
Oh, wow.
And then, take steps to protect you, freeze your account, or send you an alert, something like that.
That's a huge difference. So it's like having someone who's not just reading from a script, but actually using their brain, really trying to help you.
Exactly.
But how does all this work? What's going on behind the scenes to make this happen?
Well, NVIDIA breaks it down into 4 parts. Perception, reasoning, action, and learning. So it's like a cycle. First, the AI gathers information from its surroundings. Could be text, images, data from sensors, all kinds of stuff.
So it's using its senses, kind of like we do.
Yeah, pretty much. And then comes the reasoning. That's where the AI processes all that info, uses algorithms, often large language models.
Got it.
And it figures out what the goals are, what needs to be done, how to do it.
Okay, so that's the brains of the operation. But how does it, actually do anything?
That's the action part. It can interact with systems, software, send commands, make stuff happen in the real world.
So if reasoning is the brain, action is like the hands.
You got it. And then there's learning. The AI is constantly getting feedback, whether it's from us or just from the results.
Right, did I do a good job?
Exactly. And it uses that to get better, improve its decision-making.
Constantly evolving.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Can you give me some real-world examples? What kind of problems can these AI agents solve?
Oh, tons. Customer service is a big one. So forget those basic chatbots that can only answer, 5 questions.
Right.
Imagine an AI agent that can handle complex requests, track down information, even reach out to customers before they even know they have a problem.
Okay, that would be amazing. No more waiting on hold for hours.
Exactly. And that's just one example. Healthcare is another huge area. Yeah. Think about an AI that monitors your health data, from your smartwatch, right?
Okay.
It could analyze that, look at your medical history, and alert your doctor if something seems off.
Wow, that's like having a personal health assistant.
That's the idea. And in logistics, these AI agents could manage entire supply chains. Imagine that. Optimizing delivery routes, predicting demand, even handling things in warehouses with robots.
So we're not just talking about minor improvements, but massive changes.
Right. And DigitalOcean, they highlight how this can boost productivity. The AI handles the routine stuff, the analysis, freeing up human teams to focus on the big picture.
So it's not about AI replacing us, but helping us.
Yeah, augmenting what we can do. And that brings us to something else exciting, no-code platforms.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about this. So people can build their own AI agents without needing to be, coding experts.
Exactly. And there's this company, ArcBlock. They're doing really cool stuff with this. They're using blockchain technology, too.
Blockchain. Okay, now that's a whole other topic, but I'm definitely intrigued. How does blockchain fit in?
Well, one of the things blockchain does is create a record of transactions that can't be tampered with. That's huge when you're dealing with, sensitive data or automated processes.
So it's like a super secure audit trail. Builds trust and accountability, right?
Absolutely. And blockchain can make these AI agents more decentralized, so they're not controlled by any one entity.
Okay, now I really need to know more about this.
Yeah.
But before we go down that rabbit hole, let's just recap what we've learned so far.
Sounds good. So we've seen how agentic AI is becoming more proactive, able to make decisions and take actions.
Right.
And we looked at the 4 key components: perception, reasoning, action, learning. And we started to see how this is actually being used: customer service, healthcare, logistics, all kinds of things.
We also touched on no-code platforms like ArcBlock and how they're making this technology more accessible.
Yeah. And we even started to peek into the world of blockchain and its role in all of this.
So much to explore, but I'm sure our listeners are dying to hear more real-world examples. What other industries are being impacted by this? What cool applications are out there?
Well, let's talk about finance. Imagine an AI agent that analyzes your spending, helps you save money, even invests for you.
Okay, now that's something everyone can get behind. What about work? We talked about productivity, but what about specific jobs?
That's a great question, and we'll definitely dive deeper into that later. But just imagine AI agents handling all those routine tasks, scheduling, reports, even helping with brainstorming.
That sounds amazing. But where does human creativity fit in all this? Are we just going to become, like, passive observers?
Not at all. Actually, I think agentic AI can unlock even more creativity. By freeing us from the mundane, we can focus on what truly inspires us, the stuff that requires empathy, intuition, imagination, things AI can't do.
That's a great point. It's not about AI versus us, it's about AI and us working together.
Exactly. And that's what's so exciting about this field. We're on the verge of a whole new era of human-machine collaboration. The possibilities are endless.
I'm feeling pretty energized after learning all of this, and I'm sure our listeners are too. But let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back and explore the potential impacts of this technology on society, the economy, our lives.
Sounds good. I'm ready for it. So we've been talking about all the amazing things agentic AI can do, right? But there's another side to this we need to think about.
Yeah, I mean, it's powerful technology. We got to make sure we're using it the right way.
Exactly. So one big thing is data privacy. These AI systems, they need a ton of data to work, right?
Right.
And we need to make sure that data is handled securely and ethically. Imagine like a healthcare AI, right? It's got access to your medical records. That's sensitive stuff. We got to make sure it's protected.
Absolutely. Nobody wants their private info just floating around out there.
Exactly. And then there's transparency. As these AI systems get more complex, it's harder to understand how they're making decisions.
Yeah, like it's not enough for them to just be smart.
Right. We need to be able to see like why they made a certain choice. If we understand the reasoning, then we can trust it more, right?
Absolutely. Trust is key.
And this is where, that blockchain thing we talked about comes in. With ArcBlock's platform, remember?
Oh, yeah, right. You said blockchain could help with transparency?
Yeah. So one of the cool things about blockchain is that it creates this like permanent record. Every transaction, every action, it's all there, can't be changed. So with an AI running on a blockchain, you can actually trace back its decisions.
So it's like having a built-in accountability system.
Exactly. You can see exactly what data it used, how it got to its conclusion. No more black box mystery.
Okay, that makes sense. And what about the data privacy issue? How does blockchain help with that?
So blockchain can also be used for data storage, right? But instead of everything being in one central place, which is like a hacker's dream.
Yeah, one big target.
Right. Blockchain spreads the data out across a whole network of computers, way harder to mess with.
So it's like a digital vault with 1,000 locks on it.
Exactly. And that's what makes ArcBlock so interesting. They're combining the smarts of agentic AI with the security and transparency of blockchain. It's like a whole new level of trust.
Okay, I'm seeing how all these pieces fit together now. But zooming out a bit, how do we make sure that all this awesome power, this agentic AI, is used for good? Like, how do we make sure its benefits are shared, fairly?
That's the million-dollar question. And honestly, it's going to take all of us working together. Policymakers, industry folks, researchers, everyone. We need to talk about the impact of this technology on society, on the economy. We need guidelines, maybe even regulations.
So it's not just building the tech, it's also about building the right framework around it.
You got it. We need to make sure this tech benefits everyone, not just a select few. That's the goal, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But speaking of benefits, a lot of people are worried about jobs. Like, if AI can do so much, what happens to us?
That's a valid concern for sure. If AI is automating stuff, what does that mean for our livelihoods? Big question.
Yeah, are we all just going to be replaced by robots?
I don't think so. It's not that simple. I think it's more like the types of jobs will change, the skills that are needed will change.
So adapt or die.
Kind of.
In a way, yeah. That's why education is so important. We need to be constantly learning, upskilling, so we can keep up. There are already tons of programs out there from governments, schools, even companies, teaching people the skills for this new digital economy. It's all about being ready for the shift.
Okay, so there's hope. But realistically, won't some people still be left behind?
It's definitely a risk. And we can't ignore that. We need to find ways to make sure everyone benefits, to create an economy that's more inclusive, you know?
Right, right. So, yeah, developing the tech is one thing, but also making sure it benefits everyone is another whole challenge.
Exactly. And that's a big part of what we're trying to figure out as a society. How do we make a future where AI works for everyone, not against them?
Big questions, for sure. But I think it's awesome that we're asking them. Yeah, definitely. Better to be proactive than reactive, right? I think we should also be optimistic. AI has so much potential to solve problems like climate change, poverty, even disease.
Yeah, it's not all doom and gloom. We should remember that.
Exactly. It's a powerful tool, and we can use it to make the world a better place. That's what I think is so exciting about this field. It's not just about tech, it's about us. It's about humanity, our values, what we want the future to look like?
And speaking of the future, I think it's time to shift gears a bit. What's next for Agentic AI? What trends should we be watching?
Ooh, lots of cool stuff. One thing I'm watching is the whole AR/VR thing. Augmented reality, virtual reality.
Yeah.
Imagine AI agents that can interact with us in those immersive environments, like giving us guidance, helping us out, even being companions.
That's wild, like something out of a movie.
I know, right? But think about the possibilities in education, entertainment, healthcare, all kinds of things. And natural language processing is getting better all the time. So AI is getting much better at understanding us, talking to us.
So AI that can hold a real conversation, understand what we mean, maybe even anticipate what we need.
Exactly. It's mind-blowing. But we got to stay grounded, too. It's easy to get carried away with the future.
Right, we're still in the early stages.
For sure. Agentic AI is moving fast, but there's still so much we don't know.
True, but that also means there's so much potential, right?
Huge potential. It's a wide open frontier for innovation. And this is where platforms like ArcBlock are so important. They're making it easier for people to build this stuff, to create the next generation of AI solutions.
So even if we don't have all the answers, it sounds like we're on the right track.
I think so, yeah. We've got the technology, we've got the people, and we've got the drive.
And most importantly, the vision. A vision for a future where Agentic AI helps us all.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And the best part is, we're just getting started.
That's a great point. Now, before we get too carried away with all the amazing possibilities, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Ethics.
Right. As these systems get more powerful, we need to make sure they're used responsibly. But how do we even approach that?
Yeah, it's a big, complex issue.
For sure. But I think transparency is key. We need to be able to see how these AI systems are making decisions. We need to be able to hold them accountable.
So it's not just about the code itself, it's about the values behind it, right?
Exactly. We need to be thinking about ethics from the very beginning. And we need to include everyone in the conversation, not just tech people. Ethicists, social scientists, policymakers, everyday people, everyone. It's about all of us, right?
The more perspectives, the better.
Absolutely. And this isn't a one-time thing. We need to keep talking about this as AI keeps evolving. Always checking, are we using it the right way? Does it align with our values?
So it's a constant process of evaluation and adjustment.
Has to be. We have to stay ahead of the curve. The ethical implications, they're huge. We can't ignore that.
Yeah, it's a big responsibility. But I also feel like, there's hope. We can do this. We can use this technology for good.
I agree. I'm optimistic. But it's not going to happen by itself. We have to be active. We have to make choices. We have the power to shape how this all unfolds. We're not just along for the ride.
That's a great reminder. We're not powerless. We get to decide what the future of AI looks like.
Exactly. And on that note, I think it's time to move to our final segment. We've covered a lot of ground, but there are still some big questions and challenges ahead.
I'm excited to see what we uncover. This deep dive has been incredible so far.
Me too.
All right, so we've talked about what Agentic AI is, how it works, all the cool stuff it can do. We've even touched on some of the, the big questions like jobs, privacy, ethics. But now I want to look ahead. What's the future of this whole Agentic AI thing?
Yeah, the big question, right? Everyone wants to know. And honestly, I think we're just getting started. Like, we haven't even scratched the surface of what's possible.
Okay, so what's got you excited? What's on the horizon?
Well, one thing is personalization. Imagine AI that's not just, generic, but actually tailored to you, to your needs, your preferences, even your goals.
So like a custom-made AI assistant.
Exactly. It learns your habits, anticipates what you need, even adapts to your mood. Like, it knows you better than you know yourself.
Okay, that's a little creepy, but also kind of awesome.
Yeah.
What else?
I think agentic AI could really break down barriers. Like, imagine AI that can translate languages instantly, provide personalized education, even give financial or legal advice to people who wouldn't normally have access to that.
So it's like using AI to level the playing field, give everyone a chance.
Exactly. And that's just the beginning. Healthcare, transportation, entertainment, everything's going to be transformed. AI doctors that can diagnose diseases super accurately, self-driving cars that can navigate anything, even AI-generated movies and games that are made just for you.
Okay, now we're talking. It's not just about making things easier. It's about solving big problems, creating whole new possibilities.
Right. It's a revolution, really. And we're right at the forefront of it.
But revolutions can be messy, right?
Uh-huh.
What about the challenges? Besides the ethical stuff, what else do we need to figure out?
Well, one big thing is reliability. We need these AI agents to be trustworthy. They got to work in the real world, which is messy and unpredictable, and they got to make good decisions even when they don't have all the information.
So they can't just be smart, they got to be resilient too.
Exactly. They need common sense, the ability to learn from mistakes. That's not easy to program.
Sounds like we need some serious breakthroughs in AI research.
We do, but that's also what makes it exciting. There's so much room for innovation, and that's where companies like ArcBlock come in. They're giving people the tools to build this stuff, to experiment, to push the boundaries.
So even if we don't have all the answers yet, we're moving in the right direction. We've
Mm.
got the brains, the tech, the will to make this happen.
Absolutely, and I think that's the key takeaway here. We're not just passengers on this ride, we're the ones building the road. We get to decide where agentic AI takes us.
And that's a powerful thought. The future is in our hands, so let's build something amazing. Well, that's about all the time we have for today. We've covered a lot of ground, from the basics of agentic AI to the mind-blowing possibilities of the future.
It's been a wild ride.
It has. And a huge thank you to our expert for sharing your insights and expertise with us.
My pleasure. Always happy to talk about this stuff.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of agentic AI. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those big questions. Because the future is waiting to be built. And it's up to all of us to make it a future we can be proud of.